Bonjour! Welcome everyone to Maté Talk. What is Maté Talk? I had a, and I won't I don't want to embarrass anybody. I had a person who reached out and said, dude, it was 17 minutes or 18 minutes before you started talking about any perfumes. Like, what is going on? So Maté Talk is like a slow moving river. So think of it, sunny, you can hear those cricket things that are just chirping in the background, birds, and you're just on it lie low, just floating down the river. I promise there's a lot of perfumes in front of me here. We will be talking about perfumes. Maté Talk is a more of just sitting back and enjoying the moment together. Now, mate in Argentina is a herbal drink. It's, sorry, I'm gonna move this pillow behind me. It's a drink that we drink with friends, so it's a very communal thing. And mate in Australia means friends. Now, if you want to go, so there's been another beautiful growth on the channel, and I'm thankful for all those who are subscribing and are part of the NFC family, which is totally awesome. Thank you, thank you. So if you're new to this Maté Talk way of doing things, it's like I said, it's a different style. But if you prefer more the, just tell me what this fragrance is and how it performs and its longevity, etc., etc. There's a whole bunch of different rhythms that I've created on the channel. There's even one called, baby, what's your name? That's the way I like to say it. And so it's more, I blindfold, I invite people into the office and we film together and they blindfold fragrances and just give me your first reactions essentially. So there's different rhythms. There's also, there's a few fragrance adventures that we have filmed that are yet to come out. So there's also those about perfume in life essentially. And this is what I also love. I love perfume, I love smelling, and I love that perfume is an extension of us essentially. And so anyway, but Maté Talk, slow it right down. So first thing I always ask, excuse me while I have a small drink. Actually, look at this. This is a sad emoji. And you would ask, why is the emoji sad? Why is Marcelo putting a sad emoji here? It's because I'm not getting enough tallies. I mean, and I think, okay, so I want to do a shout out to Sir Siage Sniffington, who suggested that maybe I put like a pin, don't forget to put in your vote. So I would like to know what people are drinking. This is last week's tally. Maté is powering ahead. However, I'm a little bit suspicious of this overall number because coffee got no votes. And I'm like, what? So if you could put in your vote, I'd love to know at the end of the month. Actually, this is the end of the month. Actually, next week I'll tell you who won in the overall, what are we drinking around the world tally. But anyway, the intent is that eventually we will convert the world to mate. And the world will be a vibrant place. Talking rubbish. All right, let me move on. Allora, so have a look at this. Talking about fragrance adventures. And look, the whole purpose of fragrance adventures is really just to talk about that. I guess perfume is about us experiencing it. So it's more than just breaking down notes and all this, the more technical side of things. It's about how it makes you feel and where you use it and what, where do you, how this fragrance integrates with you and the environment around you. I always love taking perfumes when I'm traveling, or I look for, if I'm going to a particular area, I'll look for perfumes from that area, from niche houses that are only found in that area. And so that's what Fragrances Adventures is about. This is Reginald. He reached out. He's a Brazilian man who was traveling through Spain, and he sent this photo. He actually had been doing some shopping, so well done. But then he sent me this. Now, for those who have seen the Fragrance Adventures, you got to finish it with a jump shot. And so he wrote in tribute to Fragrance Adventures, he did a jump shot. And I don't know what the place was. I couldn't quite. It looks like it's a museum in the background, but I'm pretty certain it's in Barcelona. And so, anyway, thank you guys. Thank you, Reginald. I'm glad that you're enjoying your fragrance adventure. All right, so another thing that I do on the channel is a thing called Let Me Send You Something. It is the end of the month. And what that means is that if you become a member of the channel, I've had a few questions on this, and let me address this. Okay, so For some reason, some apps on your phone or tablets, there is no join button. However, if you go to your computer, so your laptop or your desktop computer, go into YouTube, go to the NFC channel, there will be a join button. It does look like this. So this is basically how it looks. The cost is $4 Aussie, and as you can see here, I think I filmed this when I was in Europe, and so it's in euros. It's like €3. So when you become a member of the channel, at the end of the month, I'll do a raffle and have a look at this. Hold on, let me just get this baby going. Bop. Give me a second. Voila. So these are all the current members. I want to say thank you to these people. Look at these awesome, awesome people. When you become a member, you'll get an emoji. You'll see that there's a little icon there that shows that you're an NFC member, and then it changes colors. So after 2 months, I think it is, it goes green. But look at these gangsters here, and gangsters in a grazie sort of way. They've been members for 6 months, and it changes to a red. So I want to thank all those who are supporting the channel. It's yeah, it's wonderful. I do appreciate it. So here we go. Enough talky talks. Let's spin. Good luck, everybody. There's a lot of members, and hence why it's taking so long. Anyway, pointy end, here we go. Good luck. Oh, Tony, my man, you've done it again. How's that? You've actually, so Tony is a previous winner, so congratulations, Tony. You're up again on the, let me send you something. That's not bad, my man. That's not bad at all. So anyway, Tony reached out to me. You mentioned to me last time around, I sent you a whole bunch of ambery style of fragrances. You guys are going through your summer right now. So please let me know what you're into right now, and I will get some samples ready and send that out to you. All right, let me move on. Let me stop this first. There we go. Alors, all right. Boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. Let me take a small drink and do a catch up. Okay, yes, okay. So this is the next thing I want to talk about. Now, let me tell you a story. So we're at 8 minutes and still no perfumes. So I'm just, like I said, this is a conversation. We're just chilling down the river here. So when I was a younger man, probably about 19 years old, I was living in Cairns, which is northern Queensland, and young guy, I was, having fun, and a local friend of ours took us to this beautiful, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was these huge boulders. All I remember was these huge boulders, and it was like a rapid, and there was water was rushing down. It was just so visually dramatic, and the water, the sound, everything about it, that it inspired me to start rock jumping. I wanted to go from rock to rock. Like these huge boulders that were put there by a giant sort of thing. So I just impulsively, I just went bing, boom, boom, and I started jumping from rock to rock. Anyway, the friend that I was with, he's calling out, what are you doing? Because if you fall, and not that it was like a waterfall, but it would have been serious damage. And plus the rate the river was, or this water was rushing, I don't know where I would have ended up. I would have ended up somewhere. Anyway, but I'm like, shut up, man. And bing, bum, bing, boom, boom, I started jumping around. Anyway, it started raining. And before I knew it, the rocks had become really slick. And all of a sudden, I started to worry. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm gonna die. And my friend who was he was like, he's yelling at me, I told you, you never listen. You're so impulsive. You just do things. You don't think about the consequences. And he was really like, I lost contact with him. Wonder why. I lost contact with him. So I'm gonna say he became an accountant because he was very like just tick, tick, tock, tock, tock. Whereas I'm Captain Impulsive, and so anyway. So I was in peril, and like I thought I was gonna hurt myself pretty seriously. In the end, I improvised. I took my shoes off and I jumped in my socks. I had more grips with my socks. Made it safely back to and I got back to the shoreline, or I'm like, what was your problem, man? But inside I was like, oh my gosh, I nearly died. So I have a tendency of just jumping without thinking, or jumping without looking too much. And so one thing that I jumped straight into and said, hey, next week we're gonna do this, was the live. So I'm gonna put a little bit of a Whoa, slow this horsey down. And I'm gonna reset a date, okay? For two reasons. One, I wanna do it right. So tech has to be on point, and I don't wanna be doing anything on the fly or just thinking through. I think I mentioned last week, it's been pretty busy and I haven't had a chance to really test the tech properly. So cool your jets. This is for me, cool my jets. So we're gonna reset a date, and that'll be at the end of July. So it'll now be the 22nd and also the 24th. And I'll tell you why 2 dates. So I had Philippe. So Philippe, thank you so much. Great man from Slovenia. One day I will visit there, I promise. I promise, I know I will. Philippe mentioned that Friday is a pretty tough time. And I had someone else locally to me say the same thing. Friday night is hard because I'm coming back from work, beep, bop, boop. So the suggestion is, what if we did it on a Saturday? And I also realized that I'm trying to put a square peg into a round hole, trying to make everything fit just perfectly, trying to do the whole world in one sitting. It's not gonna be possible, so I'm gonna do 2 sittings. The first one will be Saturday the 22nd, and the idea is that it will be it'll be Saturday the 22nd in Melbourne at 5 p.m., which will be Paris at around 9 a.m. on the Saturday, all right? I think London, it's either 10 o'clock or 8 a.m., it's one of the two. So Europe will be the first one that we'll do, which will be Saturday. It'll be Saturday in Europe, Saturday morning, so ideally everybody can join us from the European side of things. And then on the 24th, which is Monday for me, it'll be Sunday night for the US. So LA will be 6 p.m. and New York will be 9 p.m. on the Sunday night, okay? Tell me what you think of that. I want to hear everybody's feedback, because the idea, I mean, I want to do this live, but I also want people to be able to be there. One of the elements of it is if you're a member of the channel, then I want to give you center stage, you know, give you the chance to talk about fragrances that you found, you've enjoyed, and that you would like to share with the rest of this community that ideally will join us for this session. So it's the inaugural, it's the first one. I know that there'll be a few wonky wheels, but I want to at least get this on path better. So I apologize about jumping across the rock. I've now learned in my older, more seasoned years. So I'm slowing it down, and the new dates are as I mentioned. Boom, let me move on. We're doing a meetup at the Oligarch store on the 15th of July from 2 till 4. The idea is bring 3 fragrances that you are loving at the moment. I'm gonna bring 3 and something that is not found in this country. And that way it gives you a chance to, for those who join us, gives you a chance to smell something that is quite unique and different. Bring 3 that you love. And Kevin and I were talking, would be cool to, for those who are familiar with the Oligarch store, to sit or stand behind the counter and you can now have the floor and tell us why you love it. And the idea is really we want to smell different fragrances. I did ask Kevin, does it matter if it's a non-Oligarch perfume? He said, bring whatever you want. It can be from anybody, from anywhere. The idea is 3 fragrances that you're really loving, and that way we can all share collectively. So that's on Saturday, the 15th of July, 2 p.m. All right, let me show you this. This is what this chair looks like, but now look at this. This is what the chair looks like with possibly you or you in this chair. So it's bid for the throne. Now, there's an awesome Facebook group in Australia called Australian Fragrance Marketplace, run by the most talented and awesome Chris B. And he raised an interesting question with Kevin from Oligarch, who said, and he asked, you know, I don't get it. I don't get how this bidding thing works. Are you saying that it's $95 to start the bid, plus you got to pay $95 to be part of the actual experience, this online experience? No. All right, so let me explain. $95 is the starting bid because that's the price of the experience. So if you were to stay home and we were to send you the samples and you jump on the Zoom, blah, 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 it's $95. So instead, what we're saying is that there are 2 chairs in the Oligarch store that are worth at this moment in time $95 each as an opening bid. So that'll get you the kit and everything else as everybody else. So you'll get your samples and all the other components. But if you're in the room with us, it will also mean that you, because we normally have pre-show drinks and nibbles, and so you'll be able to, the idea is that you can hang out with us for a little bit, then we'll go live. The camera will be on you. We'll like to hear what you have to say. So the idea is that this is just meant to be a bit of fun. So we want two people to be in the room with us or in the store with us as we experience this. Opening bid is $95, but then someone else could challenge that and say $96. So, you know, we're not going to stop this. So if it gets up to 10,990, well, then that's awesome. At 10,990, I will personally buy you a bottle of Bodicea the Victoria. So don't you worry about that. And I'm talking the big boy. Anyway, so the bottom line is $95 is the opening bid, but that also gets you into the session, into the experience with us, all right? So, and the way we're doing it is just put, again, it's just a bit of fun. Put your bid on the, you'll see that there's a post between myself or NFC and OLIGARCH. Just put your bid in there. Just say, you know, put your name and say 95, and someone else can challenge it and say 96. We're not gonna take 22 cents, all right? So, oops, turn that off, sorry. I had it on because of the spinning wheel. So everything will be done in dollar increments, all right? Just to give you a small heads up on that. Now that leads me into the final announcement as to who's our last fragrance that we have. So we've announced that it's Paris Monte Carlo, Rainier, and now I'm happy to say, oh, we knew previously that BOIS 1920 is the third house that will be there. The three fragrances that we're going to be talking about, or that will be in the, has that 17 minutes and the first fragrances gets named, boom. Will be these guys. These are the brand new fragrances. I'm going to talk about Frammenti in just a second, but Scuro is going to be part of it, and Cannabis Dolce is also part of it. Now, for those who may have seen the video that I created on BOIS 1920, we talked about the cannabis range, talked about this one here. Now, I have a super hard time with this fragrance. This is, to my nose, the most photorealistic cannabis smell. If you like that bada bing smell, then this is the one that will do it for you. Whereas this is Cannabis Dolce, the brand new one. This is magic. This is pure magic. And look at this, Nazir, my man. He updated the pure magic look, and I love the bulkiness of it. So thank you for doing that, my friend. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Cannabis Dolce is incredible. I sprayed it earlier. It does still have the cannabis note that's in there, so, but it's not as green as this. This is so, I mean, so there's a young man, a friend of ours, Max, loves this fragrance, loves this fragrance. I have a hard time with it, I have to be completely honest. Whereas Cannabis Dolce, I do love, I am wearing. It has, to my nose, it has like a cinnamon sort of note, no cinnamon. It does have a cardamom, which is done so beautifully, slightly spicy. I think there's vanilla in, anyway. We're gonna be talking about this. We'll talk about this in more detail. So they're the three new fragrances. Scuro, wait till you smell. This is an incense fragrance, but when I think incense, I think amouage. Nothing like amouage. This is really, really impressive. I was wearing this all throughout when I was in Florence. It hadn't been released yet because they were releasing it for Exxons. I was wearing this all the way through Florence, and I was getting non-stop compliments from Sandra. Sandra does not like incense fragrances, but this was just brilliant, just glorious, gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. And as I said, I'll come back to this baby here in just a second. Frammenti, wait till you smell that, oh my gosh. So, just to be clear, that the online experience with OLIGARCH, the shop with us experience that we're doing, will be on the 28th of July. If you would like to join us, they're the three houses now that will be as part of the experience. You will be getting the legit samples. We're waiting on the last ones. For those who have ordered a seat in the class, we'll be sending these out to you very soon. So you're getting the legit samples from the actual brands. The last thing I want to do is there will be free bottles being given away. One of them is this beautiful fragrance here. So Paris Monte Carlo have been very, very generous in actually giving us the Vanille de Tahiti fragrance, and this is the extrait version. Extrait. So for those who've been hearing me banging on about this fragrance, this is a showstopper. Now this is a $450 bottle that's been donated to us by Paris Monte Carlo. We will be giving that away on the night, and we have also other bottles from the other houses. So if you want to join us, please do. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mics will be on, or we want you guys to engage with us. If you don't want to talk, that's cool. You can just watch the proceedings, but please know that. And it's not about getting expert advice. It's about how does this fragrance work for you. We'll send you the fragrances in advance so you can start testing even before the actual experience itself, so you get if you want to say something, you're more than welcome to. Boom, boom, boom. Let me have a small drink. 21 minutes, 28, my thing stops. So you know what I'm going to do? And I'm back. So last week I mentioned that I wanted to do a lineup on fragrances that I love on Sandra. And so this is what I'm going to do today. I've got quite a large collection. I had a lot of subscribers did say that they wanted to know more about this. So what I've also done is, let me just get into it, okay. I'm gonna put these ones forward first because I love it when I smell this on Sandra, but these are not fragrances that, like if I was blindfolded and smelled it, I would go Sandra, all right? Whereas these ones here, I love smelling this on Sandra, but I also wear them too. First one is BDK's TABAC Rose. Sorry, I had to think that. I don't know why I always think it's Rose TABAC. No, it's TABAC Rose. So I love TABAC Rose. This is, so it works beautiful on me, on a man. I love the fact that it does have a very gentle rose. It does have a wonderful, almost honeyed tobacco scent to it. It is slightly earthy, but it is more gourmand than anything else. To my nose, it's more gourmand. Now, this is has become Sandra's favorite fragrance. So it is quite cool now at the moment here in Australia, in Melbourne. And this has become a really beautiful scent on her. Great sillage, just beautiful sillage. But as I said, this doesn't necessarily make me think Sandra if I smell this in the air, only because I love wearing this. So boys, great fragrance for men, but on a woman is also divine. That's one. Another fragrance that both of us love wearing is 724. Now again, my gosh, yes, 724. Sorry everybody, let me take a small drink. My brain is challenging the things that I'm saying. Yeah, so 724, Maison Francis Cujan, and I really, on me, glorious. I mean, I know some people think it is a little bit more softer, so it does have aldehydes, softer florals in there. But what I love about this is the citrus component of it, which never really goes away. And that sort of fresh, clean skin, vibrance, muskiness, that sort of, I was gonna say white musk, but anyway, it's just clean skin, just very vibrant, beautiful on a man, beautiful on a woman. Sandra was actually wearing this yesterday. And interestingly, whenever I'm wearing this, Sandra is constantly asking me throughout the day, like, oh wow, what are you wearing? Like she'll ask me and I'm like, yeah, it's 724. And then deeper in the day, she's like, oh, what are you wearing? And I'm like, 724, I haven't sprayed anything else. It's 724. I was doing that to her yesterday because when I came home, I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. What are you wearing today? And she's like, 724. Deeper in the evening, I'm like, man, that's beautiful. What are you wearing? 724. So I don't know whether we just have a short memory or for some reason, 724 has different, sometimes I feel that it's a little bit linear in its scent profile, meaning that it has a citrus aldehydic sort of clean white musk kind of note to it, but obviously it must have some other elements that it tricks my brain to think it must be another fragrance or there's some other component that comes out. But anyway, bottom line is, men or women, 724, amazing, beautiful fragrance. I love wearing it. And for summer, for you guys, so summer, you guys who are in the northern hemisphere, boom. Winter, for you guys who are in the southern hemisphere, TABAC Rose, boom. All right. Now, let me have a small drink. Putting this together, I was thinking there are some very distinct perfumes. So we have a healthy collection of fragrances, and as I've always been saying, smell is unisex in the sense that if you're a petite woman, but you like, you know, smoky Java sort of fragrances, not Java, smoky vetiver fragrances or leathers, cool. If you're a man and you like your soft florals, cool. So no matter what the scent is, you do you. However, the following that I'm about to share with you are Sandra's alone. I almost feel that I couldn't wear these, and I almost feel like that I would feel out of place wearing these particular fragrances. And I smell them, and some she has abducted from me because I was wearing them prior, but now I'm like, no, these are Sandra. I smell this, and it's Sandra that's in the air. Okay, so let me share some with you. Let me start where Sandra started, which is very white floral and sort of slightly citrusy sort of fragrance notes. I talked about this last week. This is ELAE or ELAE by TRUDON. I want to say it again, all right? So for those who may have gone, oh yeah, that sounds good, please. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, this is a much more feminine leaning fragrance. The white florals is, I think, better on a female skin. No, not better, but I think it projects a level of femininity, in my opinion. It's just beautiful. This is so sublime. I smelled it last week. Again, this is Sandra. I smelled it again. Sandra wore it again. This is just gorgeous. This is just gorgeous. This is such a beautiful, it projects so wonderful. The sillage of it. There is it's almost like, if I could define it quickly, it's like a sweet love. It's like a tender, there's a tenderness. I know it sounds weird, but there's something very, very soft, gentle, sublime about this particular fragrance. I don't think many people talk about the TRUDON line of fragrances. I know we know their perfumes, their candles, but their perfume line is very good. It's really impressive. So anyway, ELAE, poof, gorgeous, gorgeous. I would strongly recommend it. This is now for a more classical, white, floral, slight citrus fragrance, very female leaning, very beautiful. The next one is, so I'm staying in this sort of white floral, but now it's almost like we've grown up a little bit. This is by ATELIER Cologne. This is a very early fragrance that I bought for Sandra. I've always known that she loves jasmine and tuberose and frangipani, these kind of scents. This one here, the difference with it is that it has an incense and it has Angelica in the opening. For those who may have seen the video that I did, or the episode that I did with FUSCIUNI, and we talked about the raw note of Angelica. And if you look at me, the way that I'm smelling the blotter, I had to smell it from here. So the Angelica note is very green, very herbal, very pungent, very, very powerful. And I feel that it's in here. There's also galbanum in here, so galbanum can be very earth-like, very green also in its texture. So this is a jasmine that is a bit more mature. Beautiful fragrance. This also has incredible power, incredible projection. So if you want something, so you may think that, you know, white florals, too soft and too sort of light-headed, I think the word is indolic, then this one here brings it down a bit more. It's not necessarily animalic in any way, but definitely a lot more earthy, a lot more grounded. But the jasmine still plays a significant role. Beautiful fragrance, and again, for me, this is Sandra. I'm gonna stay in the florals, but now we're getting mature, all right? So this is a recent love for Sandra, FUSCIUNI. This is Encore de Temps, which is Mel's, I guess, love song to not only Laos, the area that they were visiting, but also to the love of his life, which is Federica. And this is a beautiful, so when I met with Mel and we talked about Encore de Temps, he did mention that it was the first time he was experimenting with more floral notes. And in this case, it's magnolia and champaca. Now, both of these have, and osmanthus. Now, these particular notes have a tendency of being a little bit animalic, so they are a little bit more, so it's floral, so in no way is it sort of animal derived or that sort of musky punchiness, but it does have a floral sass, if you can define it like that. Sandra. This is Sandra also. So this is a great summer fragrance. This is a great winter fragrance, but this is a much more mature, this is a confident person. So, and I don't know, actually I haven't not measured, but I haven't, like, when does Sandra wear this? But anyway, I can smell this in the air. This one here is atomic in the sense that incredible sillage. It will fill a room when it comes to its presence. I feel that the longevity on this one, I can detect it on Sandra for quite some time. So really glorious fragrance, a beautiful floral done in a very unique way. Male, FUSCIUNI, Encore de Tom, big recommendation. Actually, if anything, this was nominated in the recent Art and Olfaction Awards. So he was a finalist in that particular, so it gives you an idea of how beautiful this fragrance is. Small drink, please. Excuse me. I'll take this opportunity to say, don't forget to vote. Vote for your drink, whatever you're drinking right now, even if it's water. Water's good for you, man. I want to know. Allora, let me move to this, all right? So I teased you guys with this particular fragrance, which is BOIS 1920's latest release of FRAMMENTI. If you see the outside of it, you probably can't a little bit, these are gold leaf. And when I was with the BOIS team, they showed me the actual gold leaf. These are all hand created. So each bottle is unique in the way that the image or the gold leaf is put onto the bottle. What I find that this fragrance here is, this one is hard to define, to say it's just a floral, it's a white floral. The components of this, it has a fruitiness in that opening. So you're getting a mixture of blackcurrant, rhubarb. Then it has a very divine floral heart. But then it also has vanilla, it has, I think, if I'm not mistaken, like benzoin and vanilla, benzoin, and there's another caramel. So it has this gourmand, but it's not a gourmand fragrance. It's definitely floral, and it's Sandra, my gosh. So Sandra, so I was wearing this in Florence when we met with the guys, was wearing it everywhere also, just love this fragrance. She has stolen this off me in the sense that if I smell this in the air, this is Sandra. My son's been wearing this too, so I do smell this fragrance in stereo in my house. So easy, a masculine fragrance. But for me now, this has become Sandra's signature scent almost. She's fallen in love with this fragrance. I smell it in the air and it's all over. But as a beautiful, sweet, vanillic, floral, slight fruity tones, pure magic. This one is gorgeous. And this is gonna be part of the pack. So if those who join us on the shop with us, you'll receive a sample of that. Wait till you smell it, you're gonna fall in love. All right, and we're gonna get into we're getting into the meatier ones, the ones that, I'll tell you. This is another recent find. This is Touche Finale. Sandra had been, up until, well, I guess probably up until about a year and a half ago, not predictable, but I knew what she liked, and that is white floral, citrusy kind of fragrances. Boom, that's where it ended. Definitely now she's expanded her field, and similar to me, like I always say, I want to be across the wheel. I don't want to be relegated to dry woods, aromatics, or wood fragrances. If I want to wear a soft floral that works on me as a man, then I'd like to wear that. So Sandra's also began to expand her reach when it comes to across the wheel, and also with floral notes that she likes. This one here, Touche Finale, uses a mimosa on the opening and has a beautiful floral heart, but not the traditional stuff, meaning it's things like rose, actually I'll put it here, but it's a very different, unique fragrance. And I love that this fragrance here has an equal part of sophistication, but also playfulness, because sometimes you find a fragrance could be very sophisticated, and I'm gonna say that this one here, so Jasmine Angelique, goodness, is a sophisticated white floral fragrance. You know, there is a maturity in here, whereas I find that Touche Finale has that sophistication, that maturity, but it also has this playfulness in there too, that there's another softness happening in there. Gorgeous fragrance. The JOVOY brand is one of those that I think I mentioned a little while back. Regret the fact of not coming into this house a little bit earlier. I find that their fragrances are very affordable, so really good bang for your buck. You know, huge bottles, as in the actual size, the pricing, their projection, their longevity, all these components, really impressive. So TOUCHE, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I strongly recommend it. This has become Sandra's I'm going to bed fragrance. I smell this in the air, and I know that it's time to jump into bed. I smell it throughout the night, so this is a gorgeous fragrance. Yeah, so Sandra does have a perfume for the night. Okay, wrapping this baby up. Last drink. I used to love wearing this. This is BACCARAT Rouge 540. Everybody knows this fragrance. This is the extrait version, if I'm not mistaken. Beep, bop, boom, oui. I can't wear this anymore. This is Sandra. I smell it, it's so divine. Some people not discredit, but they're like, oh, it's almost like, oh, it's, you know, like it's been done to death. It's never done to death. It's like bacio gelato. Bacio gelato can never be done to death. You can have, I mean, please, or a really nice vanilla bean ice cream. I mean, come on. So I put this in that category. It's one of those fragrances you just need. I do feel now, in my opinion, where before I was always said that, you know, that this is more, it could be masculine or feminine. I smell this is Sandra. I smell this in the air, and it's Sandra wherever I go. The sillage on this is incredible. I'm like, if I get lost, if I lose Sandra in a crowd, I just follow the sillage trail, and I know that I'll bump into her, because this thing just projects like nothing else. I was gonna say more, but BACCARAT Rouge, I mean, I'm sure you guys are familiar with this fragrance. I strongly recommend it. It's one of those classics that I think it's a minimum if you just need it. All right, last two. Now, the last two, I'm gonna show you something. Oh, where is that one bottle? Oh, it was hiding, sorry. So, this is by Laboratorio Olfattivo, BALIFLORA. This is NISHANE's TUBEROZA. Now, Sandra was wearing these independent to each other, okay? So this one here is very frangipani, white floral, that kind of scent vibe. This one is tuberose, but very tuberose accentuated. So what she's done is she actually has done some layering. So she layers these two together, and these two together, it takes us to another level. It's like that scene in Spinal Tap when Nigel says, you know, his amp goes up to 11, not just 10. Well, by putting these two together, you're actually amping the whole fragrance up to 11. There is something, and the funny thing is, I smell these independently, and I'm like, yep, cool. But oof, oh my gosh, tuberosa. I mean, actually tuberosa on its own, it's carnal, it's so divine. But these two together, glorious. So this has become Sandra's day-to-day, do my thing. These two together, this is an all year round recipe right here. Look, again, they're independent, right? So this is beautiful on its own, beautiful summer fragrance. This is gorgeous all year round, but it does lean a little bit more sort of cooler weather, I would say. But bring these two babies together and you've got an all year round recipe for pure magic. Bada bing. All right. Last one, have I saved the best to last? And the short answer is yes. I personally think I have. This is the most sensual. This is, I don't want to say too much because I'm going to embarrass myself and I'll embarrass my poor wife. You just need it. This is just divine. This is probably, anyway, I'm going to say enough. Really glorious. So I'm a big fan of all things Alessandro Galtieri. Narcotic Venus, the name says it all. It's intoxicating. It's feminine, just goddess. This is just beautiful, just a glorious. If anything, it's so, what is it? Because the notes are not defined. It's a tuberose, but the tuberose done with slight animalic components to it. It does, you need it. It's gorgeous. Bada bing. That's it. That's a huge Maté talk. I'm really sorry, guys, if I have gone for too long. I do apologize. But as I said, I chopped the mark anything. The idea is that this use this as a bit of a reference if you want to, as to some quick guiders on some fragrances. All those that I just shared there are all Sandra. I smell and I could never wear. I feel like I would be an imposter. If I sprayed that on myself, I'd just be like, yeah, I'd be trying to, be somebody else. These are all glorious fragrances that I just love smelling in the air, and instantly, I think it's my wife. It's my beautiful wife. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you guys all on the next Maté Talk.